Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my Lady Boss YouTube channel. So I'm so excited to get into this video because anytime I talk about how to become financially stable or how to successfully save to get to your goals or how to get debt free or anything like that, these are probably by far one of my favorite videos to ever make. And I think that it is just so important to be young and thriving and being able to really take hold of your finances and do so much as to really save when you do make money. So like I said in all my other videos, it doesn't matter how much money you actually make, it's how much money you actually save. And I know that it gets frustrating, and the fact is, if you have a lot of bills to pay for, or you have certain debt that you need to pay off still, or anything where you're kind of struggling to actually save, I know that it can seem like an ongoing process and that you'll never be able to become debt free, but trust me, there are simple ways and steps to get there. It's all about the processes, and then it'll lead you up to your future and being able to make yourself financially stable and pay off all of that debt. And so that's why I wanted to get into today's video. But before I do get started, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I do post videos every single Thursday, and I will link my Instagram handle down below as well too, so you can follow me on social media. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the couple tips to become financially smarter and debt-free. My tip number one is to set up savings accounts. So I have talked about this in a previous video. It was actually in my Budgeting 101 video where I kind of gave some tips on how to save properly. And I really went into an in-depth video of different accounts that you can actually set up for yourself. So I talked about setting up like a 401k, a Roth IRA. I even went down to even not using those bigger accounts and actually just giving tips on how to utilize your small savings accounts, like with Bank of America, Chase, any of those, like SDCCU, any type of those smaller accounts where you can also make a savings account for yourself and actually set yourself up for your future. So definitely check out that video. I will link it up above, so you can click on that and maybe get some insight, because I don't want to get too detailed into that since I had already talked about it. But just a synopsis of everything is setting up those types of accounts for your future, even if it's like $10 a week that you can put in. I like to kind of go off of the scenario of doing $10 a week and put money aside on a weekly basis versus a monthly basis. I feel like you can see a greater impact when you're throwing in $20, $30, $40 a week, because that's just substituting going out to eat at a restaurant and just utilizing that money and switching it over to putting it into your savings account. So I've actually tried it personally myself, where I would rather save money on a weekly basis versus a monthly basis, so the lump sum of money isn't so huge at the end of the month, where a lot of people sometimes still have bills to pay, that hit at the end of the month. So that's why I like to do it progressively over a 4-week period, to be able to lessen that, but you're still saving the same amount of money. So that's one really great trick that I have definitely utilized myself, and I've given that suggestion to other people as well too. But that is definitely one of my first tips on how to even start saving and to even give yourself that foundation point to start. My tip number 2 is start paying off your debt. And you're just like, well, duh, of course, that's why I'm watching this video. So of course, yes, start paying off your debt and just do it on a consistent basis. So what I do highly recommend when you are paying off certain debt that you may have, and it might be something as like a credit card bill. So if that's your case, say for example, it has an interest rate, and say if it's kind of like a decent high percentage, because it's going to be based off of how much you actually owe. It's a percentage. So instead of throwing that money away every single month and just paying off very, very little amounts off your credit card bill, try to increase it just so you're not kind of throwing money away every single month. My tip number 3 is to set concrete dates. So for example, this kind of will go hand in hand with my tip number 2, but this is where you want to set a concrete date on the amount of money that you want to pay something off that is creating your debt. So take the time to look at a calendar and just tell yourself, this is the date that I want to pay off this X amount of money. So like I had said, and for an example, say you want to pay off a credit card bill that's $5,000, and you tell yourself, I want to pay this $5,000 credit card bill off in 8 months. So what that means is in 8 months, to pay off that $5,000, you have to put $625 away a month to pay that off completely in 8 months. Or the other option you can do is do it on a weekly basis, like I had talked about earlier. So what that does is it makes it seem a little bit less intimidating, because that's around like $125 a week. So would you rather put $125 a week toward that $5,000 credit card bill, or would you like to put $625 away at the end of the month? It's going to be up to you and what you can do financially at that point in time, but it's just able to see and give you different perspectives on how to still make this obtainable and make this something that you can still potentially do based on your financial standards right now. My tip number 4 is don't be reckless when it comes to receiving bonus checks, or, for example, if you received a tax refund check. Save that money. So what happens a lot of times is people get so excited that they get this large chunk of money that they never had before. I know, it's awesome. You got like a $400 to $500 bonus, or maybe you got that back in a tax refund check at the end of the year. But to be honest, that is where you need the most self-control, and that's where a lot of people don't have that discipline. And that's why I'm really making this and driving this home to you, because just because you get this large sum of money doesn't mean that you should be spending it. Don't go try and spend this on a nice luxurious vacation. Don't try to spend this on a nice pair of shoes, wallets, watches, jewelry, whatever you name it. Try not to give in to that. So what you should actually really do is maybe take half of that, put it towards something that you have to owe or pay debt on. But the other thing is save the other half and put it in your savings account. So it's kind of like a win-win situation where you get to, use a little bit of that money to help pay off your debt, but then at the same time, you're also using some of that money to help your savings. My last and final tip is don't be scared of using credit cards. So you're probably wondering, why am I talking about this? Because throughout this entire video, I've been telling you how to try to pay off your credit card debt, or in kind of relation to that, right? So with that being said, as long as you're responsible enough to be able to use a credit card, it can actually really benefit you for your future. So there's a lot of times where when you have a credit card and you're responsible and you do and can afford to pay it off on a monthly basis, it can actually help you really build your credit. And when you have really good credit, it can help you get really great interest rates on when you want to buy a car, when you want to purchase your very first home. All of those things will help you. And also too, when you sign up for certain credit cards, you can actually get rewards points. So that means pretty much when you go and spend money on your credit card, you get certain cashback options. So that's one way where you're spending X amount of money, you'll get a certain amount of money back because you use that credit card, and then over a period of time, you can redeem those points. So that's a really great option. And the other thing too is that there's things where you can get these rewards points to actually help pay for your vacations. And this might seem too good to be true if you're not really, knowledgeable about this. So if you actually apply for certain credit cards, you can actually get points and being able to use that for traveling. So that's where a lot of people, you can see people traveling all the time and you're like, how do these people afford to be able to buy plane tickets all the time and this and that? It's because they actually probably get a credit card where they actually can get those points to be able to use towards travel. And that's one thing where having a credit card, there's so many different things where it can be beneficial. Do your research, be responsible, and it'll definitely help you for your future. Alright guys, so I'm going to close out this video. I hope that it was super helpful. Like I said, this is one of my very favorite videos to create. Like, I love talking about this type of stuff, being financially stable and just saving money, and just the power of those two things combined, and being able to do that at such a young age instead of trying to do it later on in life. Like, by all means, no matter what, like, you can always try this and save at any point in time in your life. Like, it's never too late. But if you can actually start this earlier, when you're young, in your prime, and you can actually get a head start, your future will be like nobody else's. You will be so set for your future. It's insane, as long as you take those progressive steps to get there now. So hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some insight. But other than that, I will see you all in my next week's video. I appreciate you so much for watching. Thanks so much. Bye guys.